Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lower Speeds Live class. Let's go ahead and get started. I will go ahead and mute everyone. All right. Ready? Draft, relative, face, fear, fur, trying, extra, begin, sweet, words, attend, approval, I, insurance, clear, become, sheet, whatever, dollars, o'clock, bills, settlement, miss, mention, local, earliest, fit, receiving, arrived, willing, advertising, doesn't, health, fire, isn't, shown, history, seemed, basis, definite, longer, sign, music, proposition, act, blank. All right. Let's do some sentences with common. These are common briefs. Now, some of these are briefs or phrases that I don't use because they're just too close to each other. So I'm going to go through them. Some of the last ones, you're going to hear, what is your full name? What is your address? What is your age? What is your name? So basically, what is your is going to be WHA for what, and then you add the U, and then if you hear what is your name, that's WHAURM. What is your full name? You're adding the FM, WHAUFM. What is your age? WHAURJ for age. What is your address? WHAURDZ. Okay, so I don't like to use those because, you know, it just, you almost have to wait to see what the last word is. But you definitely could use what is or what is your. So if you want to, you know, use what is your, you would do the WHAU and then just come back for address, age, name, full name, whatever it may be. Okay. But other than that, you're also going to hear eventual, which is VENL. Eventually is EFL. Essential, SESHL. And then essentially, just come back for a long E or the AE. Examining room is initial X, final RM. Industrial, STR, long EL. Industry, STR, long E. Let the record reflect, LEKT. May I approach, M long AP, MAPE. Motion granted, MOG. Motion denied, MOD. Anything with ologist. So at the end with ologist, instead of coming back for two strokes, ologist, you can just write it as OLT. Ology, you can use OLG. So that saves at least a stroke. Operating room, ORM. Potential, P long ONL. Proceed, PR long ED. Procedural, PR long ORL. Proceeding, PR long OG, or you can do PR long EG. Some people like to use that. I like to use proceed as PR long ED, and then proceeding, I use PR long EG, so that's up to you. Prudent person, PRUP. Recovery room, initial R, final RM. Refresh my recollection, RIRK. Refreshed my recollection, you're adding the D, RIRKD. Respondent, SP long ONT. Responsibility is SPONT. Search warrant, you can either write it as SW on the initial side or SWAR. So help you God is SKOD. Social Security, initial S, final S. solemnly swear, you can either use SOLS or S final S. Then we have solemnly state. You're going to hear both. Sometimes they say solemnly swear, sometimes they say solemnly state. Solemnly state, you can either use SOLTS or SOLT. Something like that, SL long AK, to my knowledge, TOIJ, to my recollection, TOIRK, to your recollection, TOURK, to your knowledge, TOURJ, under the circumstances is UTS. So if you don't know those, I encourage you to write them down and practice them, but if you don't like them, then just write it out. You might like some and not like others. Everybody's different. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the sentences. The doctor was in the examining room. The eventual end of the world is near. Water is essential for life. Eventually, I want to take a trip there. It was industrial cleaner. Bob was the best in the industry. Let the record reflect this statement. May I approach the bench, Your Honor? Motion granted. No, motion denied. Where is the operating room? I need to see the oncologist. Liz has the potential to be violent. You may proceed, counsel. It is procedural to do this. The proceeding will take a while. Jen is a prudent person. Joe lay in the recovery room. Please refresh my recollection. Thank you. That refreshed my recollection. The police needed a search warrant to enter. Do you swear, so help you God? Do you receive Social Security? I do solemnly swear to tell the truth. It was something like that. To my knowledge, he was employed. To my recollection, he liked fruit. To your recollection, did he wear white? To your knowledge, did she date? Under the circumstances, we will leave. What is your full name? What is your name? What is your address? What is your age? All right. Now I've got some sentences with phone numbers and addresses. Here we go. Her phone number is 649-2386. His address is 1141 Cole Street. Our new phone number is 342-8553. Send this to her address at 72984 Market Street. Did you say her phone number is 875-5189? His phone number is 951-781-5130. The phone number to the store is 676-7714. All right. Let's do some consonant compound words. We're going to focus today on our initial consonants, TH. Initial TH. Here we go. Ready? Thank you for your interest. That is the way it goes with them. They live in thatch huts. I wish the ice and snow would melt. I wish the ice and snow would thaw out. Live theater is very interesting. The class is interested in the theatrics. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. Who discovered the theft? You owe them your attention. It was a happy theme. The game ended then and there. Students of theology go to school for years. I hope your theorem is correct. Most of the questions were theoretical. According to that theory, we are wrong. Do you believe in those theosophy thoughts? The therapist gives the therapy. There are lots of thick branches. In Alaska, you need thermal clothing. That thermostat on the thermometer must be wrong. All right. We're going to do another section of carbonated drinks, brands, and manufacturers that we started yesterday. Here we go. Coca-Cola Relentless, Coca-Cola Zero, Cocoa Shop, Coke Light, Cola, Cool Meadow Beverages, Corona, Capella, Country Time, Cream Soda, Cresta, Crush, Crusha, Capito Drink, Diet Coke Lemon, Diet Coke with Lime, Diet Mountain Dew, Diet Pepsi, Diet Right, Dorna, Double D's, Dr. Brown's, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Thunder, Dr. Wham, Duke's, Fanta Wild Strawberry, Faygo, Fizz, Free Key, Fresca, Fridge, Fruit Jump, Fruit Punch, Ginger Ale, Ginny, Grapefruit, Grape Tizer, Grapette. Right, there's more, but we will save the rest for our next class. All right, let's move on to some popular websites. Again, let me go over these internet briefs in case you don't know them. www is Watt, WAUT.com is DOM, DAUM. .net is DWET, DWET. .gov is DWOF, DWUF. .org, DWORG, .org. If at is in the middle of the actual web address, you're going to write it as AT with the flag. / is bash. / is bash, but you would have to flag it so it doesn't conflict with the word bash. And dot, if you have dot in the middle of the web address, that would be DOT with the flag. All right, here we go. www.github.org. www.apple.com. www.naver.gov. www.ok.ru.gov. www.aliexpress.org, www.aliexpress.com, www.stackoverflow.com, www.ourtime.org, www.blogspot.com, www.paypal.com, www.tumblr.com, www.chinadaily.com.cn, www.imdb.org, www.datehookup.com, www.seniorpeoplemeet.com, www.fc2.com, www.jingdongmall.com, www.blogger.com, www.163.com, www.chemistry.org, www.blackpeople.meet.com, and www.whatsapp.com. All right. And they don't always say the www dot, but it's still good practice to get used to using that brief. All right. Let's do some names and addresses. Here we go. Amy M. Clark, C-L-A-R-K, 3801 Ivanhoe Drive, Lorain, Ohio, 44053. Howard County Library, Coral Springs Branch, 1078 Northwest 29th Street, Coral Springs, Florida, 33065. Lewis Shepard, Jr., S-H-E-P-A-R-D, 726 and a half North Street, Logansport, Indiana, 46947. Jill M. Torrance, Torrance, 5223 Cobblestone Lane, Loves Park, Illinois, 61112. Marilyn C. Gonzalez, Gonzalez, 509 Fifth Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11220. Thomas B. Lightner, Lightner, 1849 Avondale Lane, Sandy, Utah, 84025. Miss Anita I. Ferris, Farris, Route 1, Box 356, Palmyra, Virginia, 22963. Matthew A. Tucker, Tucker, 2839 Mechanicsville Road, Bensalem, Pennsylvania, 19020. Katrina C. Hunsberry, Huntssberry, 110 South Lennar Road, Abbeville, Louisiana, 70510. All right. We're going to do one last drill here. This is going to focus on different endings with FT and words that end in ST versus the S or the Z. All right, here we go. Lost, loss. Guess, guest. Host, hose. Chase, chast. Pace, paste. Miss, missed. Pose, post. East, ease. Pass, past. Base, based. Least, lease. Truss, trust. And here are your sentences. She lost her wallet. What was the loss? We lost the case. Paste the exhibit. She paced the floor. Use a light paste. He did his very best. It's the best way. Have you seen Bess? Wipe off the mist. I missed you today. It is misting now. Please be our guest. It's just a guess. Use the guest room. Nail between the joists. The attorney lost the case. There will be frost tonight. They lost a great amount. Paul took a real pasting. Let's stay at the guest ranch. Don't waste so much time. You can't bring up the past. I am the last witness today. Take a blood pressure test. It is the least you can do. Please don't drive so fast. Wait until the paste dries. His horse ran in last place. It has a really bitter taste. She is your host. I am wearing hose. Thank your host. Baste the turkey. Use the base rate. It needs basting. Do you trust them? He wears a truss. In God we trust. It was late last night. Turn to the west. Don't act in haste. He's driving east. She works with ease. It's to the east. All right. We'll move on to literary and jury charge. We're going to continue on with our Sheriff's Department report. All right, I'm going to start at 60. I'll work my way to 100. Here we go. How are we doing on time? Good. Perfect. Here we go. Ready? Interview suspect, Connor Reed. While outside the county jail at approximately 5:02 p.m., I read Connor Reed his Miranda rights with my Sheriff's Department issued Miranda warning card. I asked Reed if he understood and was willing to talk to me about the charges against him, and he said yes. Reed told me the following information. Reed said Him and the victim have been married since February 5, 2012, and they have no children together. Victim's son was living with them, but moved back out yesterday or the day before. Her son came by this morning and got the rest of his stuff and is now living with his grandparents. Reed said he was not staying at home on Friday night and checked into a Motel 6. Reed stayed in the motel because the victim had other people over at their residence. Reed said the victim was chasing him around that night with the car, and he was just trying to get away from her. Reed was just trying to walk away from her, and she was just following him in the car. It was near the Motel 6, near the new Target in Simi Valley. Victim kept threatening to call the cops, so he never went to his room and called his friend to pick him up. Reed came back home on Saturday around 11 o'clock because he had given into her. Reed told the victim he had some money and would help her out. Reed said he never grabbed and pushed the victim down on Saturday. Reed believes the victim is still doing drugs and is still drinking, and she starts in with him about the money. Reed said he never puts his hands on the victim unless she is drunk and starts coming at him. Even then, he does not have to use force. He is just able to get away from her. I showed Reed the letter the victim gave me, and he said it was not his. Reed said he has not been there. I asked Reed if the writing on the letter was his, and he hesitated, but then said it wasn't his. Reed said the victim writes all kinds of crap down. She writes constantly in her book. Reed said he did not threaten the victim with the scissors or to kill her. Reed said he has been staying away from her, and she has called and threatened him. Reed said he never grabbed her dog, nor did he threaten to stab the dog. Reed said today the victim threw alcohol at him. The victim came up to him and put her arms around his neck. The victim was biting and screaming in his ear, and he told her to get away from him. Victim kept following him around. Victim didn't bite him, but grabbed around his neck, pulled his head close, and was screaming in his ear. Reed said he was not touched and did not touch the victim and had not used any force against her. Reed said he would walk away from the victim and she would follow him. Reed said he did not threaten to flatten the victim's tires with a knife. Reed said victim has not struck or assaulted him, but has only pushed him. Reed was booked into the county jail under PC 273.5, spousal abuse, and for his 2 outstanding felony PC 273.5 spousal abuse warrants. Victim had several bruises on the upper and lower extremities of her arms, and she complained of pain to the right side of her face. Victim refused any medical attention. Reed had a small raised bump to the back of his head, but did not know how he received it. Reed thought that the victim possibly did it to him. I took pictures with a digital camera of the scene, victim, Reed, and of the evidence recovered at the scene. I downloaded the digital pictures into the DIMS at the Simi Valley station. Victim gave me the letter that she said Reed had written. Victim also gave me the scissors that she said Reed threatened her and her dog with. Victim recovered the scissors from the bathroom area. I collected the pocket knife from Reed's pants pocket when I made contact with him. I also recorded the initial contact with the victim and Reed, and I recorded the interview with Reed on my digital recorder. I also put the recordings onto a flash drive. I packaged all the evidence and I placed it into the evidence at the Simi Valley station. See CR3 Evidence Property Report for additional information. Victim was provided domestic violence information along with the Vine information. Submit case to the district attorney's office for review and prosecution. All right. Go ahead and do some jury charge. This is going to, where you're going to hear opening statements. All right, here we go. It's a continuation of what we've been working on. All right, here we go. The first technique is something called expressing superior knowledge. Investigators oftentimes, and if you think about it, they have to. They oftentimes express that they know more than they do. They pretend that they have more information than they really have. You are going to hear evidence. You are going to hear testimony. When officers say things like, "It's all right," we already know what happened, or words to that effect. In this case, you are going to hear that over and over and over again. It's all right. We already know what happened. You need to understand that the officers will explain that that is a technique that they use. It is a technique to encourage that unnatural act, or to encourage the act of going from a denial to an admission. You will also hear testimony about how guilty people, that is, people who really do commit crimes, how they hear that very phrase. It's all right. We already know what happened. And how they hear that differently than somebody who is innocent, or from somebody who may not have committed a crime. All right? So you can kind of figure it out for yourselves. I mean, as jurors, you will be able to figure this out, and the evidence will help you find that. But guilty people, when they hear, "We already know what happened," will tend to make admissions. Innocent people who weren't involved at all, who hear, "We already know what happened," will think, "Good, then you are going to know that I wasn't involved." And so, how it plays on, and you will need to kind of understand that difference in the dynamic. The last concept that you will hear about, that I want to talk about in opening statements, is giving a suspect a reason to admit. We talked about that before. It is a suggestion that they will feel better, or that they will have some moral acceptance. All right? It is some real or perceived feelings about themselves if they just get it off their chest. So whether you will sleep better, or you will feel better, or you will get it off your chest, or words to that effect. When you hear that in this case, know, and you will hear evidence about it, that this is a technique, or an interrogation technique, and you will hear a lot about that. Well, there are safeguards too that you are going to hear about. We don't just base your case on admissions or confessions of people, but you have to try to verify what it is that somebody says. And this screen explains some of those things that the testimony will show in this case. Can that person's statement be verified? or what's called corroborated through physical evidence or other known facts. Right. Let's move on to Q&A. I'm just stating this so I know that we finished it in this class. All right, Q&A. Now, before we start with a transcript, this is kind of a Q&A drill. Okay, it's I'm using the light board. It's going to switch off between common questions that you hear from plaintiff, defense, the court, and I shouldn't say common questions, it's more common terminology that you often hear. So it's good practice, okay? And it's going to switch off between plaintiff, defense, the court, back to plaintiff, and all that, okay? There's no answers involved here, just strictly questions. Here we go. Were there any warning cones or devices, construction, jerry barriers, jersey barriers, anything of that nature in the street within 100 yards of the intersection at the time of the incident? At the time of the accident, were there any lights at that intersection as far as overhanging street lights to illuminate the intersection at the time of the accident? Are there any directional signals or lights at that intersection? Before the accident occurred, do you recall seeing any vehicles cross in front of your path? What was the speed limit at or near the intersection at the time of the accident? Just before you applied your brakes, before the accident, can you give us your best estimate as to your approximate speed? Did you have your headlights on at the time of the accident? Did you notice at any point in time, before or after the accident, that the car that you were involved with in the collision also had their headlights on? Were your turn indicators on at the time of the accident? Are you aware of any witnesses to the accident? Were there witnesses to this accident? Was a police report filed? To your knowledge, was any police report made for this incident? Are you aware of any report being made to any authority because of this incident? Now, just a little tip, you can use a brief for incident, and what I use is SDENT. So incident is which is your Z, okay? But for incident, I just kind of squeeze it, so I say SDENT, okay? Because incident comes up almost just as much as accident. All right, I'm going to date this. Again, that drill is not about, giving an answer. It's about common questions and hearing the same verbiage over and over. So it's more like a light board drill and common terminology that you hear. All right, let's jump into Q&A. We're going to start off with an easier transcript and then go to a more challenging one. How are we doing on time? Good. All right. This is going to start with defense attorney. Had you ever seen those two dogs before the day of the dog bite? Yeah, when they were in the fence. When they what? When they were in the fence. What do you mean when they were in the fence? When they were in the fence at their house where they lived. Down at Mr. Stahl's house? Yeah. Had you ever seen those dogs before they bit you running around in the neighborhood? No. Ever seen them out loose? No. Did you have a dog at the time of the accident? Yeah. Okay. And what kind of dog did you have? An Akita. Were the two dogs that attacked you Akitas just like yours? Yeah. The dogs that attacked you, do you know if they were boy dogs or girl dogs? I don't know. Did the dogs who attacked you have a license on or a collar? No. Did they have dog tags on? No. What's the name of your Akita? Max. And were the two dogs that bit you bigger or smaller than Max? About the same size. Is Max a boy or a girl dog? A boy. Do you still have Max? No. Where is Max now? Dead. Max passed away. Okay, we'll stop for a minute. Let's go back on the record. David, we can stop anytime you want to. All right? So if you want to stop, you just tell Mr. Padero and me, and we will stop. All right? Okay. All right. How did Max die? We had him put to sleep. Can you speak up just a little, please? We had him put to sleep. When did you put him to sleep? I don't know. Was it before or after you moved to Texas? After. Did he just get old? No, he kept on tearing up the house. How many dogs bit you? One. One? Yeah. Okay. Do you know which one it was? The brown one. The one with brown, light brown, and dark brown on it. So you were bit by the dog that was light brown with dark brown on it? Yeah. Are you sure about that? Yeah. Did you see that dog before it bit you? No. I think he means, did you see it coming or near your property before? Yeah. Let me ask the question again. Your counsel is right. That evening, did you see the dog coming towards your house? Yeah. Coming towards the driveway? Yes. Was it with the other dog? No, there was just the light brown one with the dark brown spots. Yeah. When you saw it coming, where were you? In the driveway by the fence. What were you doing when you first saw the light brown dog with the dark brown spots coming toward you? I was just leaning up against the fence. Were you playing ball or tag? No. Where was your mom when this happened? In the house. Where was your stepfather when this happened? At work. Where was Chad when this happened? He ran in the house. Did he run in the house when you saw the dog coming? No, he ran in the house when the dog started biting me. Before the dog started biting you, when you first saw the dog coming, he was just standing. He was just standing up against the fence with me. And what about Josh? Where was he when you first saw the dog coming? Standing up against the fence. Were you guys just talking? Yes. Now, when you first saw the light brown dog with the dark brown spots, how far away was it? About 5 feet. How far is 5 feet? I don't know. Where was the other dog? The one that was white and brown. Do you know where it was? Yeah, it was across the street, across the dirt road, on the other side of the dirt road, barking at the dogs in that fence. Do you know whose dogs those were? No. Were they the neighbor's dogs or were they your dogs? What dogs? Well, you said the white and brown one was across the dirt road barking at dogs in a fence, right? Yeah. Okay, now whose fence was that? Do you know? Andrew's. Say that again. Andrew. Oh, Andrew's. Okay. All right, let's stop there and switch transcripts for just a couple more minutes. A little bit more challenging here. And this is going to start with the court. This is a colloquy. Here we go. Matter of netter and netter. Appearances for the record, please. Yes, Your Honor, William Anderson on behalf of the petitioner, who's present in court. Marla Hendrickson of Norman Filer's office for respondent Cindy Netter. She is present. All right, counsel, I indicated to you in chambers today or yesterday, I could give you between 9 and 10 something this morning. It's now 7 after 9, so we have between now and 10 o'clock. We discussed some of the trial issues yesterday. And Mr. Anderson, you are the petitioner. Would you like to outline the trial issues from your standpoint? Well, Your Honor, I think it's the custody and visitation order that was made. All right, let's not talk about custody and visitation right now. Let's talk about factual trial issues. we have the issue of the $120,000 check from the petitioner's parents to the parties. Here is the issue. $120,000 loan issue. What else? There is the issue of the ownership of the jacuzzi and whether or not there's any amount owed to the respondent's mother. Ownership of it's a portable spa, correct? Correct. We have the support issue. Support, all right. Spousal, we have attorney's fees. We were able to make headway on dividing some of the real or personal property. There are several items left as there's a dispute as to characterization and possession. I mentioned attorney's fees and costs. Yes, there's an issue as to the characterization of the 2009 Ford Escort. There are Epstein credits requested of the petitioner anyway. The house, I think we agree, needs to be sold. How the proceeds need to be distributed was another issue. I believe that. Ms. Hendrickson, do you agree with these particular trial issues? Yes, Your Honor. We do think there's an additional issue, though, as to the fair rental value of the house, which Mr. Netter has resided continuously in since the separation in October of 2015. I thought you agreed to that yesterday in chambers. No, Your Honor, we did not agree to that. We indicated there was a, what do you think a fair rental value is? We believe the fair rental value is $1,950 a month, or excuse me, $1,950 a month. And he is Mr. Anderson. We believe it's $1,850 and would agree to $1,900. Ms. Hendrickson, $1,900? Yes, for the purposes of resolution. The court finds the reasonable rental value to be $1,900. Any other trial issues, Ms. Hendrickson? There's an issue of spousal support, Your Honor. He's already mentioned that. Mr. Anderson has outlined what he feels the trial issues are. My question to you is, are these the trial issues? Are there more or less? That appears to be the extent of the issues at this time. Good. All right. Let's start with issue number 1, the issue concerning the loan. Mr. Anderson, can I call Cindy Netter? Mr. Netter, please come forward. Would you raise your right hand, please? All right, let's do some read back. Now, this Q&A that I'm going to give you is called the contraction Q&A. So there's lots of contractions in here. So that's what you want to focus on. All right. I'm going to start at 100, then I'll read it again at 80 and again at 60. Strictly Q&A from plaintiff. Here we go. Isn't it clear to you that you weren't the cause of the accident? It is very clear to me. It's also clear to me that I'm a victim. I am the one who was hit. The day of the accident, that was a Tuesday, wasn't it? It was. Where were you coming from? My home. Your home is located on 1st Street, right? Yes. It is a 2-story house? Yes, well, if you count the basement, you could say it's 3 stories. There's a basement? Yes, there is. That is pretty rare in California, isn't it? I guess so. Did you build the home? No, the basement has always been there. That's just the way it was built. I see. Since the accident, have you been able to go upstairs? No, I haven't. You have not been able to walk very well, have you? No, I have not. All right, so let's do that again at 80. Here we go. Isn't it clear to you that you weren't the cause of the accident? It is very clear to me. It's also clear to me that I'm a victim. I am the one who was hit. The day of the accident, that was a Tuesday, wasn't it? It was. Where were you coming from? My home. Your home is located on 1st Street, right? Yes. It is a 2-story house? Yes. Well, if you count the basement, you could say it's 3 stories. There's a basement? Yes, there is. That is pretty rare in California, isn't it? I guess so. Did you build the home? No, the basement has always been there. That's just the way it was built. I see. Since the accident, have you been able to go upstairs? No, I haven't. You have not been able to walk very well, have you? No, I have not. All right, so we'll do it one last time at 60 words per minute. Here we go. Isn't it clear to you that you weren't the cause of the accident? It is very clear to me. It's also clear to me that I'm a victim. I am the one who was hit. The day of the accident, that was a Tuesday, wasn't it? It was. Where were you coming from? My home. Your home is located on 1st Street, right? Yes. It is a 2-story house? Yes. Well, if you count the basement, you could say it's 3 stories. There's a basement? Yes, there is. That is pretty rare in California, isn't it? I guess so. Did you build the home? No, the basement has always been there. That's just the way it was built. I see. Since the accident, have you been able to go upstairs? No, I haven't. You have not been able to walk very well, have you? No, I have not. All right, well, since we don't have any students in our live class, there's no need for me to go back and reread it. So what I want you to do is select a selection, either the 60, 80, or 100 take, and listen to it again, compare it to your notes, and see how you did. All right, so that concludes our lower speeds live class for today, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.